hoops.
What happened to Mike Conley? What's wrong with Mike Conley? Oh, there's plenty of excuses. New franchise with a new system, new teammates in a new city. But whatever it is, he was traded to Utah, and people projected them to at least make a deep playoff run and maybe even be a dark horse title contender this year. No one thought that Conley would be this bad. About a quarter of the way through the season, he's got the 9th worst true shooting percentage among qualified players. Literally, if you took all of last year, that would be the equivalent of Dennis Smith Jr. Yeah. In this video, we're gonna take a look at what's gone wrong with Mike Conley, dig into the numbers, and figure out what's to blame for his slow start in Utah. Hey, it's Casey Kierner of the AM Hoops YouTube channel. Hit us with a subscribe. We're trying to grow this channel. We come out with 3 quality NBA videos every single week. If you love the league, also check out the AM Hoops podcast. Monday through Friday mornings, we go over every single NBA game. Mike Conley was drafted in 2007, and he became a star in Memphis. He was part of the grit and grind era. Okay, Conley, Marcus Gasol, Zach Randolph, and others may have never won a title. He was never an all-star in Memphis, never made an all-NBA, but that group made the playoffs 7 years in a row, and he got paid. At one time, literally, Mike Conley was the highest paid player in NBA history. And while Conley was becoming a badass, the Jazz were building. Rudy Gobert won back-to-back Defensive Player of the Year. Donovan Mitchell, a legit budding star, but they needed help, and Conley became available at the perfect time. Despite averaging 23.8 points per game and 4.2 assists per game, Spida Mitchell only had about 0.92 points per possession, which sounds like a lot and relative to the average NBA player it is, but when you take a look at how it stacks up against the stars, yeah, you're not gonna compete for a title like that. It's not that Mitchell didn't have playmakers around him. Ricky Rubio and Joe Ingles can ball, but they don't consistently score the ball and help Mitchell handle that load. That's why the Jazz needed to make some moves, and they definitely did this offseason. Mike Conley was gonna be perfect. He's a playmaker also who can provide some veteran scoring. So here's the trade for Conley. They gave up Jay Crowder, Kyle Korver, Grayson Allen, the 23rd pick in that year's draft, and a first-round pick that probably won't convey to Memphis until 2022. That's a lot. And then the season started. Through his first 7 games, Mike Conley shot 31.8% from the field and 28.2% from 3. And that includes an 11 for 17 game mixed in. That's how bad his stats were to start the year. Yeah, so bad that among the 72 other players who had as many field goal attempts as Mike Conley, only Eric Gordon of the Houston Rockets had a worse shooting percentage, and he was dealing with a knee injury that required surgery. Through the entire season, his assist percentages are down. He's a career 29%, he's at 24% in Utah, and he's even bad just going to the rim this year. From 0 to 3 feet, he's shooting 53%. That's down from a career average of 57%. But fans in Utah got a little bit of hope. There was a 10-game stretch where he looked like he got it again. He shot 42% from the field during that stretch, 42% from 3, and scored almost 18 points per game with about 5 assists per game. But then another slump came. Point is, this guy is inconsistent and it's holding the Jazz back, and they want to know what's to blame. So to find out what's to blame, we bring out the blame pie.
So good and tasty.
The blame pie. We can assign percentages to who's to blame or what's to blame until it equals 100% of blame. So the first slice of blame pie goes to his age. 10%. He's 32 years old. Many point guards start to regress at this age, but it doesn't totally explain such a steep decline from his age 31 season. That's why it only gets 10%. But that 32 years old may be more serious when you combine it with his health, which gets 15% of the blame. Now you might remember this. Mike Conley is actually less than 2 years removed from a surgery that ended his season, and it was meant to smooth out a bone in his heel that was aggravating his Achilles. That doesn't sound good. I mean, would it be crazy if that surgery, combined with his age, caused him to decline at this point in his career? It would help explain the fact that he's not moving with the same fluidity that was his trademark in Memphis, and he's not jumping as high. I mean, again, we talked about how bad he is from 0 to 3 feet. Another 15% goes to his shot selection. So when you look at the shots that he's choosing to take at what areas on the court, he's taking most of his shots from 3, good, but also from the mid-range, bad. What's even worse is that he's inefficient at both. I mean, the analytics guys here in 2019 hate for a player to shoot a mid-range shot. They want one that's really close to the rim or one that's from 3, anything but the mid-range, and Conley's taking a ton of them from that spot. I get if that's what the defense is giving him, but that many shots at the mid-range? I mean, he's inefficient at that shot, and almost every other team in the league seems to figure it out. We're assigning 20% to coaching and this equal opportunity new system that he's in. Equal opportunity in that he was one of the go-to guys back in Memphis, and now Donovan Mitchell's number 1. You've got Joe Ingles also and Bojan Bogdanovic in that starting lineup that also score, but that doesn't explain his true shooting percentage. And it's not just offense either. At one point this year, he said there was getting used to guys' position on defense and even Rudy Gobert's accent. Now, what about this quote that he said about the coaching? Quote, "It's not so much the plays, it's just a lot of terminology, a lot of things that are different words than most of the rest of the NBA, which is great once you learn them all. Nobody really knows what you're saying because you're speaking a foreign language to the rest of the league, which is brilliant. The problem is that right now that might also sound like a foreign language to him, and he's the point guard." But the bulk of the blame, 40% goes to time. That's right, patience. It's not a word that we want to hear as sports fans or people who watch the sport. We want to just watch the first 25% of the season and say, what is wrong with him? He must be broken. We shouldn't have given away all that stuff to Memphis. But the truth is that Mike Conley is one of the most cerebral players in the game. He's shown how successful he can be, and all of these excuses that we've already mentioned, of course with the exception of his age, maybe his health, will be fixed with time. Of course Mike Conley will get there. No one doubted him before the season because of his great track record in this league. In fact, here's what he said recently after that successful 10-game stretch that we talked about earlier. Quote, "We've got so many talented guys, I become a fan of myself. Watching Bogey, Donovan, and Rudy and those guys go to work, I have to remember about being aggressive myself. I'm trying to balance it all and still learning all the calls and all the languages. It's come pretty good and pretty quickly these last few weeks." And of course he said that and then immediately went into another slump, so it's clear he ain't out of the woods yet. Eventually he will get it together, and of course that'll mean great things for the Jazz. All right, so that's what's wrong with Mike Conley and where we can place the blame, and unfortunately it's not exciting. It looks like patience is really the word here for the Jazz and their fans. But the good news is they've got one more year. They have time to be patient because one more year with this core to try to make those high expectations come true.
Support AM Hoops and click subscribe. Don't miss a weekly NBA video.